Hello, this is a tutorial. I'd like to talk about how to prepare a data for Tableau, a data visualization software, where you can transfer Excel-based data set, clean up a little bit to Google Sheet, which is in cloud. Then you can create a connection between this Google Sheet to Tableau, generate a graph. And then Tableau Public, this is a free software, allow you to post your data visualization graph to their cloud. You generate a URL, then you can bring that URL into Unreal. So that's the process I'm gonna cover today. So before you start the process, I'm going to use Excel and Google Sheet. I'm gonna clean up the data a little bit, extract some data. So just make sure you have Excel as well. For Tableau public software, you can download, which is free. If you just Google the name Tableau, you can see the product, and here's the Tableau public, and you can check some informations like how to download. You can also sign in. This gives you the free membership because each time when you publish a Tableau project, it's actually hosted in their cloud. So you have to sign in as a Tableau user. All right. So Tableau public, this is a free resource available. Okay. So for me, I will just start simply with the raw data which is available to download. Then I'm gonna clean up a little bit, prepare that to the Google Sheet. Okay. So first thing I will do is I will just go ahead, open the link. I can download the dataset. The dataset was connected. What was collected by sensors. We have many different sensors. For instance, in the sensor 8, this is a project students gonna work together. So we have 8, actually 7 different type of sensors. You have temperature, sound, occupancy, lighting, envelope temperature, air quality, right? So this is all here. To do a demo, I will actually using another example file, which is a sensor 5. I will using the AQ05 as example. So first thing I'm going to do is download this into my local drive, right? So I will save it. I will save it in a place later I can have access. 05. I will give this name called new2. Right, so this is Excel file, and then I can go ahead, open this file, new2. Okay. Before we bring this file into Tableau, there are a couple of things you have to clean up. So first of all, if I open this Excel, really depends on what type of data is was collected. You have to understand the data first. So in this case, I can see the data is about different type of air quality measurement, such as PM1, PM2, PM10, CO2, right? So dust. So this is very different type of particles in the air you can measure. Also, you can see the value is actually organized based on the day and time, right? So you start with September 21st, but for some reason, I think at the beginning it's messed up a little bit. Then you start with September 21st. This is the time, I believe. So 1609 means 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then you have these actual values. This value is measured based on different type of particles. You do see this data is actually pretty large. If I drag all the way down, it has 40,000 record, right? So for Tableau project, I think it depends on this, the resolution you want to dig in. For us, we probably don't really need 40,000 record. We want to find a way to only sample every 10, every 100 record, so you have a relatively smaller data set. So this is one thing you need to think about is to sample just a portion from this large data set. The second thing you want to think about is the meaning of this. In some case, I probably want to measure the data from, let's see, the entire day. I will probably just concentrate on a single day, then I measure every single hour, right, from that day. Or in other case, the data is more valuable to study the trend over the whole month or over the whole year, right? So that really depends on what analytical outcome you wanna have. So for me, I just want to get a small sample from this entire data set. I do want to see or interested about the whole distribution across the entire month. So it start with September, then it's end with November. So I want to actually gather the whole 3 months data from here, right? So that's the first thing I wanna do. The second thing is the timestamp might not be necessarily make sense if you just measure the days. So I will probably ignore the time. I think I will just care about the days. All right, so this is something I want to do first to clean up the data. To do that, I have a quick link I want to share with you. This is called Excel formula copy values. Later I will share this in the tutorial. It's copy values from every nth row. So this is going to be pretty useful. I mean, if you use other data analytical software, probably is an easier way to just coding that. Excel can actually do it, but it's a little bit strange. You have to type this formula in the row. So basically this formula means whatever number, right? So it's measured from the B, then you multiply 3, so every 3 rows, if you sample the data, then you put this into a new column. So that's basically what this program gonna do. So if I don't want to type, if I just want to simply borrow that, you can see this is a detailed explanation what's the formula means. So if you want to start at nth row, this is the one you want to use. Or if you want to start with the first row, right? Start at the first row, and this is the one you want to use. Okay. So for me, I want to probably just start with the first row, and every 3. So let's do that. I will copy, and then go here. So here, let me just do I would say a new time, right? And then I'm gonna actually I want to put new time here. Yeah, not here. New time, and then here I'm gonna paste the script. So script basically will offset whatever row from B, which actually I should use A, right? And from the row number 3, so this is 2 variables. One is column A, row 3, right? And then for the row, I want to actually go to not F1, I'm actually going to P1, right? So P1 is my current, right? Is my current. And then I want to sample every 3 rows. That's fine. Let's start with this one first. Oh, I forgot to type the equal. Here we go, right? So you have this is actually identical to the first, right? First row, which is the 3. So if I copy and paste, right? This is basically using the same logic, but here is actually sample the every 3 one here, then every 3 one here. To make it more readable, let me just delete. I will probably sample every 100 rather than 3 because I have too many data there, right? So every 100 rows, I will put one here. So I will Control C, Control V, right? So here we can see the day will just change really fast, right? So here you can see it's already, November, October 27th, right? So that's how you measure every 100 rows from here. So I will do exactly the same thing for here. I would say call this a PM1. So I'll be using similar logic, Control C, Control V, right? But this time, instead of doing A, I will doing B, actually C, right? So it's measure the PM1 and put it here, right? Every 100 rows. So I will Control C, then I will do Control V to paste, right? So this is basically the values of the PM1. They should match precisely. So if you are not sure, you can definitely double check from here. So I have PM1, then I will do another, I don't know, maybe do CO2, right? So for CO2, I will copy that, and here I will equals this, and oops, I just made a wrong post. Let's make sure. Control C, Control V, right? And here the CO2 is F, so change this column variable to F, right? Everything else should be automatic. So Control C, Control V, right? So this is the CM2 every 100 rows, right? So if you are not sure, you can actually check this guy, right? So from September 20th, you have 677. So here, if you check, there's a value 100. Yeah, 677, right? So that is correct, right? So we know we actually successfully sampled this CO2 every 100. So that's nice. Now let's do one more. Maybe we do a dust, I don't know, do a dust 3, a dust 0.5. I guess this is the size of the diameter, right? So Control C, Control V. Then I change this to dust 5 with J. So change the variable column to J. Then I will Control C, then Control V. Right. So this is how you basically generate, just a small portion from this new, existing Excel file. Okay. All right, I think I'm pretty happy with the result. Oh, hold on one second. Just want to double check 0.5. Yeah, that looks all right. 178 should be the row 102. 103. Yeah, that's correct. Okay. Let me see if anything else I need to double check. Yep, this looks all good. Then let's go ahead, copy this into Excel. So let me save this one, because this one includes the original data plus this new data I just generated. So put this into Excel. This is pretty straightforward. So first I'm going to log in to Google Sheet. Here I have shared with everybody this folder. You can actually go to Digital Twin folder. Here you can create a new data a Google Sheet. So I will go to sensor 5. In your case, you will probably go to sensor 8. And there I'm going to just create a new Google Sheet. Okay, so that's what I want to do now. It's a little bit slow. Let me just refresh. Okay, and then here I'm going to create a new Google Sheet. Okay, just create and share, because this is a shared folder. And I will give this guy name, let's give sensor 5. I think this is sensor 5 quality. So sensor 5 air quality. This is the second one, so I will air quality 2. Then I'm going to, just copy paste. This part is a little bit tricky. You have to holding shift, select all the, cells, all the values, Control C. Then you go here and then Control V to paste. Right. They should show up automatically. So this first row, this is actually the name of each columns, and this one is actual values. Right. Another thing I like to clean up is the first row is actually doesn't really capture any valuable data, because I think that's just initiate the sensor. I will actually get rid of the first one. So delete row. I don't need the first. It starts from the second row. I think this is more meaningful. So you have totally 24 rows. Okay, so that's a good start. Let's save the file. Control S. All right, so you're done. That's how you generate this new Google Sheet. All right. And the next step I'm going to do is to run the Tableau public software. Just make sure you download this one free online. So once I run this, it should give me this really simple interface. I'm able to make a connect to a database instead of a local file, because I do want to maintain the Google Sheet online. In the future, if I update Google Sheets, it's automatically change the graph. So none of the files actually local. They are all hosted online. So that's the beauty about it. So to connect to a server, here you can have this option. It's called Google Sheet. If you don't have this option, you can click more, and you should be able to see that is right here, Google Sheets. All right. I will click that. If this is the first time you connect to a Google Sheet, it will ask you, do you want to give permission, right, to log into that? Since I created this under my Gmail account, so I should be able to access with my Gmail. Just simply click allow. In your case, let me know, since I shared the file to you, but I'm not sure which email account, right, you use for Google Sheet. So let me know if you need a different access. But now, once I have it, then give the permission, it will basically scan all the Google Sheets under your name. So this could be a long list, depends on if you have done this before. So I have done this Sensor 5 AQ2. This is a new Google Sheet I just created, right? So here I will create connection. So that's how the data is extracted directly into this Tableau environment. So here you have the first data source. Also you have the name is called sheet 1. The name doesn't really have much meaning. I think in the future probably is always a good idea when you work on the Google Sheet, right? Give a meaningful name for the Google Sheet. Don't call sheet 1. So I will give this name AQ has 5, sensor 5 AQ, right? So you can update here. It's automatically saved. So that means here, if I just click refresh, it should automatically capture whatever change. Here is a new Tableau public. I'm just will go ahead and reconnect this Google Sheets one more time, because there was some issues in the last connection. So let's do that. And then ask me the authorization. I will click yes, use my account, then give access to it. All right, it's now safe to close it. So now I should go back to here, and I can see the Google Sheet here. All right, so that's good. Then I will go ahead, click connect. All right, so now is automatically connected. You have 389 rows. The reason I have so many rows is here I decided to, using this every 100, but I want to give, all 400 rows copied here. So I copy paste this 400 rows, right? Because every 100 row you take one sample. I have 40,000 total, so I have 400 rows as a result, right? Then I copy paste them into my Google Sheet here, and also I got rid of some of the dates, the early dates, start from the October 27th. The reason is in original data, I think at the beginning it's missing a few days, from September 21st jump to October 27th. I think it's easier just start from October. All right, so this is the new kind of clean version in Google Sheet. So here I re-establish the connection. Of course, the time format is not right. So here I'm gonna change this type to date. Okay, so that looks good. I have this 100 rows. For other settings, you can just keep as a default. Then I will go to create a new worksheet. This is the sheet 1. I'll probably just rename it AQ. Right. Then for the rows, I'm going to drag CO2 first, and I change this to average. Right. For time, which will be in column, I change this to day. Okay. So now you have this CO2 change over days from October 7 to all the way to November. I will also do a dust. Right. Same thing. I don't really care about the sum. I care about the average. So once you have these two, you can actually click this overlay so they can display all together. So that's a nice way. You can have two values and tell the correlation. Also, if you click all, you can change their size altogether, making them a little bit easy to read. Label, you can label all the values, or you can label minimum and maximum, right? So there's a couple of controls you can have here. Yeah, I don't think we want to switch the other things. Okay, so this is all good. So I have this first data sheet. You can also switch the different display, depends on which one make more sense to you. I think in general these two lines make sense. Oh boy, the size is automatically resized. That's kind of annoying, but that's okay. So we have these two curves. Then I will go ahead and create a dashboard. Dashboard is like a paper space. You can drag multiple sheets in. So I have one here, but in the future, if I want to create another data sheets, for example, I want to do, I think we did dust last time, right? Yeah, so if this time I want to do not a dust, I want to do PM1, right? You can make PM1 as your focus. Then I will do the time. Actually, the value should be in the rows. Time should be in the column. Then I change this to day. Right, so this is the the PM1. Let's just give a purple color. Make the size larger. Okay, so we have another. So let me rename this guy to PM1. Okay. Then go back to my dashboard. I can drag PM1 here. So you can have basically two dashboards on the same dashboard. Two worksheets on one dashboard. So that looks good. Then I can go ahead publish, right? So the way to do that is go save to public. So I give this guy name, let's call air quality sensor 5 3. Save it. Okay, so now it's pushing the data directly to cloud, and then you'll see this automatically. All right, and this is the link you can share with others. Actually, the link is here, share. You can copy this link and give it to me. So this will be the single destination to get into your dashboard. Oh, there's another thing I forgot to mention, but it's super important, is when you save as Tableau public, I would save as a new name. Just want to show you. I will give the name for number 3. Make sure you check this option. Keep my data in sync with the data source. This is super important. The reason is if you saved this way, okay, you will be able to get this extra refresh button at the bottom. I will show you in a minute. Okay, so it's publishing the data there. Right, it looks exactly the same, but you do have this option, request data refresh. So this is really handy. In the future, if you did, for example, whatever update here, you don't really have to go back to the Tableau editor to change. It's just automatically adding this extra value here. So just to demonstrate the point, I will just put some fake data there for now. So the last one is this, right? So if I, for example, just adding this extra lines, just pretend I have 24, just pretend I have this whole value just 10 times larger than the original one. I just want to show you the point. Okay, so now if I save, right, this is directly in the Google Sheet, and here in a published version, I just need to request the data refresh, right? So it won't be immediate change, but I'm assuming this is gonna take a few seconds. Then you want to refresh the page. Let's see, this is the current one, right? We should see a jump if we refresh the page. Hopefully they will show up. Yep, you see the jump show up, right? That's really nice. So that means in the future, if you do have this extra line of data, you can always just add directly into this this Google Sheet directly. So I'm not gonna, I will delete this guy. Delete. Okay, Control S, save it. Then here, right, instead of going back to the editor, I will just request data refresh, right? Wait, two few seconds. Then I will refresh the link. Yeah, it's updated automatically. So that's a nice thing about Tableau is you only need to set up the whole flow once, and in the future you can keep updating the database. It will reflect here. Right, so this database is very important. You should keep it in a safe place, and you can add in more and more variables. You can edit the format. I think that's it. This is all about Tableau. Again, if you want to share with me, just click share, then send me this link. All right.